Yeah, if ever there's a day to dust off your The Last of Us beanie, it's on The Last of Us Day. And apparently The Last of Us Day is the day, is it the day that's in the game that humanity is overrun by cordyceps? Anyway, The Last of Us Season 1, loved it. Played briefly the game, the first game, the Part 1, The Last of Us Part 1. I got so scared playing it that I couldn't play it anymore. I needed someone to play it with. Anyway, then the girls got me into the series, Season 1, obviously. Pedro Pascal, fantastic. Bella Ramsey, it was a sleeper hit because it was classily made. It had the production values of that other wondrous series, Chernobyl. It had grown-up acting. It had a ludicrous apocalyptic kind of reality, lifted from the game, obviously from the console game, and I'm aware that there are many, 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 many fans of the show who are intimate with the kind of the lore and the rules and the references that it makes to the games. I don't know those references. All I do know is that even without knowing the game, The Last of Us was an incredibly kind of mature, sophisticated, gritty, and surprisingly really emotional series about love, about connection, about survival, about parenthood in a sense, and kind of becoming enforced companions and relations. There were many shocking moments in it. It's one of those shows, a little bit like The Penguin with my wife, Nadia, that kind of drags people in to watch it because the acting's so good, the scene setting is so believable, the special effects are cracking, the monsters, the cordyceps, the sort of strangely kind of creeping kind of mushroomy fungal thing, which incidentally, I don't know if anyone saw the news story of a spider's body that had been hijacked by cordyceps, or a cordyceps, just like in this series. Of course, there were standalone episodes in season 1 too. The really brilliant one that featured the gay couple. Do you remember the gay male couple who, and it did that thing that kind of Breaking Bad did back in the day, like Ozymandias and The Fly, those episodes that were almost standalone, but yet they added to the kind of development of the story. Yes, it felt sometimes derivative, but I felt it was head and shoulders above things like The Walking Dead. Don't get me wrong, the first couple of seasons of The Walking Dead were sensational, but it just kind of became a bit repetitive. So for me, the danger or the trick or the knack here with season 2 is how they're going to be able to revisit, take us back in, do more of the same, but try and keep it interesting, keep it innovative, keep new things happening, rather than it becoming a grind. I mean, I think the thing about The Walking Dead, I think in any real life situation, if the zombies took over, after about a year or two, it would become a grind, right? Just, oh God, I've got to kill another fucking zombie, I've got to get away from another zombie. But for entertainment factors, we need to be stimulated, and it needs to keep coming at us. So fingers crossed. Now, as I understand it, Jeffrey Wright is in this season 2, and Catherine O'Hara is in there, so I'm kind of excited about this. So let's check it out. The Last of Us season 2. We have many of the younger members of the family are ill, so I would be watching this with Maddie. She is the Last of Us aficionado, but she's struggling. She's not well. So until she's better, and then when she is, she'll join me for a reaction too. But in the meantime, let's check out season 2.
Oh, you want to start or what? Let's try something different. You can't heal something unless you're brave enough to say it out loud. Say the thing you're afraid to say. Say it out loud, no matter what it is, no matter how bad. What did you do?
Wow. Wasn't that brilliant? Again, I've noticed, I don't know if it's the same Alien, no. There's some crafty little, clever little trailer editors out there at the moment. I love that. It's very powerful, isn't it, to strip away the sound, the natural dramatic sound of a scene when everything's kicking off and going, and then you sort of drain that out and then you replace it with a sort of empty sound. There's nothing like, you know what I mean, an empty sound, a silent sound, the sound of silence, which is actually strangely very loud. I've heard the sound of silence in the Arctic. It's really loud. You've got the warmth, you've got the sunny basking glow of old Pedro Pascal picking up a guitar, the connection. We're in frosty climes, which as I understand it is very reminiscent of The Last of Us Part 2, the game, similar location. You've got that wonderful kind of, I forgot how the greenery, the moss kind of grows around, a little bit like that wondrous film by Alex Garland, Annihilation. Do you remember that? A little bit of a romance there for Bella Ramsey's character. And then what a brilliant introduction of the creatures. It's the way the cordyceps kind of lift up, isn't it? They grow outward and upward. Catherine O'Hara looking a little bit more sinister and serious and sort of portentous than Beetlejuice. And then almost sort of a kind of Game of Thrones-esque, as we saw the sort of the white things, kind of all the kind of the monsters kind of running across the snowy. Winter is coming quite fast, quite quickly. Sensational. And then they strip the sound out, and then we're just left looking at some pretty damn gruesome images. I mean, Jeffrey Wright in that smashed up, dirty shower with a poor sort of beaten up, bloodied individual sort of chained to the wall. What's going on there? And then lots of people slamming their heads against things. That looked great. I mean, as a teaser goes, it's got emotion, it's got connection, it's got warmth, it's got human interaction and relationships, and it's got just petrifying gore. And Pedro Pascal drops a tear. I can't cope with... There's two things with Pedro Pascal. I can't cope when he's off his head on acid, a la when he was in that movie with Nick Cage, one of the most wondrous drug-taking scenes. If I took acid with Pedro Pascal, I know for a fact I would want to try and eat his head because it would become a burger. He's kind of got a beautiful burger face. But in this one, he's crying, and whilst he looks kind of severe, I just want to hug him. Do you?